Once again, thank you all for joining the session. This is more on the startup as an emerging asset class. We have done the earlier session as well. Today, we will specifically focus on one of the option of investing in the startup, which is very, less in terms of the risk and, high in terms of return, right? So I'll just take you guys to the startup and the startup ecosystem. I'll be a little quick. So just interrupt me if at all any question is there, or maybe just put in the chat box, right? So what are the startups, right? It's basically a new entity, primarily working towards innovation, development, improvement of new product and processing services. So it's not a normal shopkeeper who's starting the business, right? And it has to be a scalable business model with a high potential of employment generation. So even if any startup wants to any company wants to register as a startup and they want to apply, employment generation is one of the major criteria for getting the startup certification. These are the numbers, as per the latest report. 115,000 plus startups in India, which are recognized by Government of India. These are the few of the wealth creation done by the business, and almost all the names are known to people. These are the number of unicorns in India. Unicorn is, just for the reference, unicorn is when the valuation of the company is $1 billion, which is roughly 8,000 crores. So then it considered as a unicorn, in the definition. These are the startups which has created a wealth creation for the investor. So when let's say we say the Dream 11, Metal, Snapdeal, Flipkart. So Flipkart, somebody would have put, let's say 100 rupees, it has become 1,30,000, right? So that's what kind of return people have witnessed in this startup investment. These are just to highlight few of our wealth creation stories. So this is one of the startup where we exited this is a startup where the share we entered in November 20 and January 22. This was the price. So these are all notional return. We haven't yet exited. So these are the 13.3x in 15 months. Homeversity, which is more like OYO-like model, which has given a 3.4x return in 16 months. Classroom, which is ongoing. These are all the investment we are still holding it. These are the pillar of startup ecosystem, as startup, which are companies and the founders, incubators, mentors, and the investors. How to participate as a founder, as a mentor, or a subject matter expert, and as an investor. So let's focus largely on the participate as an investor for what we are gathered today. So this is the simplest way of participation in growth of the startup ecosystem, right? These are the benefits of investment in the startup. As we all know, investment should be planned, to get a proper return, and obviously to diversify our portfolio. And if systematically invested in it, obviously investment in startup can give a exponentially and high return, which we have already seen in the last slides. So these are the few, things how you can participate as an investor in the startup ecosystem, right? So one is participate as a member or unit holder of VCP fund, which a lot of super HNIs does that, which is like minimum 1 crore a year commitment in terms of investment in the startup. Second is you participate as a member of AIF, right, which is having a minimum commitment of 25 lakhs in 5 years. And again, there are various categories in AIF. If someone can go on mute, if possible. Yeah, sorry. So, so participate as a member, of AIF. So minimum required commitment is 25 lakhs in 5 years, and there are, few more, individual net worth and experience criteria for the participation. This is, the common thing which, a lot of investor who wants to start their startup investment journey with a 2.5 lakh to 5 lakh, they, do this. So they become a, member in any angel investment, platform, and they start investing in, a 2.5 to 5 lakh ticket size. Generally, at an early stage at the startup, you get a entry at a 2.5 lakhs to go on the cap table, right? And we always recommend that, whatever you invest, that doesn't mean that will earn always fly, right? So to mitigate the risk, you should invest at least in 10 deals, so that your risk is mitigated, right? This is what we will discuss in length. So how to participate as an investor, specifically in the mutual fund SIP for long term, right? Assuming you don't want to put everything in one basket, but what if you are putting 1 lakh to start with, and it goes into the multiple startups, so your risk becomes very low, right? So this is growth sense, which is us, has developed this a mutual fund like startup investment model, and which we have been running since last 3.5 years almost. The first fund is 3.5 years old, where we were able to give the return of 20 to 25%, right? And the last thing, this Growth 91 is our startup marketplace, where even someone wants to start investing in the startup with 25 to 50,000, and I'm sure most of you would have visited, or you would have registered on the platform, and you would have seen the deals which are coming on the platform. And the beauty of this is Growth 91 platform is we do only those deals where we put our own check as well, right? So Growth 91 is basically a startup marketplace, completely curated and independently evaluated deals by third party due diligence agency. Also we also do thorough due diligence, evaluation, competition check, and then only we list the deal on the platform, right? And all the information, relevant data is made available to the investor. As you know, these are all the closely held companies, so details are not available in the public domain. But when we commit any investment in any startup or any company, we have all the rights to get all the details, and we publish it to the investor so that they can commit and invest, right? And you, as we mentioned, you can start, it's all basis the deal to deal, but it's as low as 25,000 to any amount is comfortable to you, you can start investing, right? And considering we have just 1 hour, so let's talk only on one option, which is more relevant according to us, for people like you, where you have just started investing, or maybe you want to diversify your portfolio and also reduce the risk, right? So just to share, as I said, first time investor or someone who wants to diversify their portfolio, they can be the better audience for this model. This is our journey so far. Started in May 2020, as I said. That was the first fund which we started. 3.5 years, successfully we have done it. Now we are managing 4 funds. So fund we started in May 2020. Second fund we started in 2021, and now this year we started another 2 funds. Already we have invested in 65 plus startups, and it's growing, right? So every day we evaluate the deal. Every month we invest at least 1 to 2 startup. But again, the numbers are not fixed. There are months where we don't get the good deals and we don't even invest as well, right? And declared 30% profit share in group 1, 15% each for 2 consecutive years, and in the second group we declared even 15% profit share as well. And remaining 2 fund we started this year, so it will take some time to perform, to give the proper return to the investor in those funds. So historical returns of over 20% per annum for our members in first and second group. And when you invest in 65 startups, that the startup is a closely hand. You need to be after them for taking the update after investment and all. So we that's the regular practice what we do. And few of our startup has given 100 to 400% return also, and we have a success names in place as well. So these are the USP of the fund. Just to elaborate, it's a unique concept, as we mentioned. According to us, no one does in this style. Somebody would be doing at a small ticket, but not in the concept what we have defined. Lower ticket size, completely industry and stage agnostic. So industry is any sector where we see a founder has the most potential, committed, his past, what's the solution they are doing it. And stage agnostic is early stage to growth stage what we invest in the company, right? As I said, extreme diversification. So out of 65 plus investment what we have done, you may find agri-tech, you may find edutech, you may find gaming. So you name the fintech. So all the kind of industry where we have invested right now. Low management fee what we charge to for our managing the entire fund. anytime exit possibility. Maybe I'll take just a 30 seconds more on this. So if you know the startup and startup investment happens at your choice, exit happens at a founder choice, right? Because there are only three possibility where investor get the exit. So one is a company comes up with the IPO tomorrow, and there is a SME IPO window also now for the startup. Second is a founder is doing, I mean, the startup is doing extremely well, and founder wants to buy back the share, right? And third is they are doing a larger round and they want to give a exit to the small investor, so that the large investor comes as a VC, and they help them growing big time, right? So here in our thing, the possibilities, there is a secondary market exit possible. I'll elaborate on that in the next slides, right? Our commitment, it's professional experience management. And Sanjay and I, we are the sole responsible for this fund, where we take the sole responsibility of investing and managing the fund. 100% transparency is there, and transparency is like on the 1st April 12 p.m. The provisional balance sheet is provided to all the investor in the group, right? 100% compliance, whatever compliance is required for managing the fund, everything is available. Real-time access to the portfolio. So you as an investor, you have your dashboard. This is the dashboard screenshot. How the dashboard look like. So this is your total investment, how many CCDs you have got it, what are the number of startup you have invested. Even in the breakup, you will also get how much amount has gone in this startup, right? So that is also available. What is the available credit? So this is the profit share what we have declared, that is available. We have also have a referral amount in place. So some member is referring to one new member. So by default, we give that 1% of that investor amount. It goes to the investor who is referring the investor. This is the current value of the CCD, current value of investment. This is the holding of the percentage in the fund, and these are the documents available for you, right? These are if you start up, it looks like that. Once you click on this, let's say Sparda, you'll get to know what is the Sparda. They are into legal entity, commitment when we did, investment when we transferred, who are the founders, who are the co-investor, everything is available on the dashboard, right? So I'm sure there are a few existing investors also on the call. There are a few founders also on the call. So I would really appreciate, whoever is the existing investor, they should, look for this at least investment dashboard. So idea is that, we are completely in terms of, receptive in nature. So a lot of feedback has come from a lot of, experts, and we have implemented in our dashboard as well. Right now, benefits, let's talk on the benefits of our, unique solution, right? What are the, benefits for, this kind of investment, right? So significant reduction of risk. Why do we see that, say that? Assuming you are an investor in the first fund, you have invested, we have invested in 65 startups, and you are, let's say, starting with, 5 lakhs, although minimum ticket size is 1 lakh, but the fund is 3 years old and you are starting with 5 lakh rupees. So 5 lakh gets split into the 65 startups, right? So assuming you have a less than 10,000 exposure in one startup, right? Now, whatever we do, we are doing wonderfully well. We are tracking everything, but that, these are the startups, somewhere they would need the fund. And if they don't get the fund, they may fail as well, right? So assuming even if, 20-30% of the startup, or maybe little more startup gets failed, remaining startup will recover the money, for the investor with a good return, right? So significant reduction of members' financial exposure in any startup, right? As I said, one startup, if you want to participate, take an example of last Parda, what I, just mentioned. So if someone wants to invest in one startup, Sparda, you will have to invest minimum 2.5 lakh. But what if that 2.5 lakh you have invested, let's say in the fund, so that 2.5 lakh gets split into 65 startups, right? So professional fees required for managing this process become also affordable, because wherever you invest, and through anyone you invest, you pay, fees for that particular startup, where here, you are investing the similar amount, but it goes, you get the exposure in multiple startup, and that way, your fees also, becomes affordable to you. And additional opportunity for members to enter anytime. Why do we say that? Because we take fund 4 times in a year, which is February, May, August, and November. So even existing investor can participate in the new round. Also, new investor can also participate. So for existing investor as well as a new investor, it's opportunity to come at any time and invest with a ticket of as low as 1 lakh rupees. And we discussed in the earlier slide, additional possibility of full or partial exit at any time, right? See, in startup, there is nothing committed, right? When we say that, full and partial exit is possible, so that's a visibility and that's, possibilities there. And we have already given the exit to few of the investor who started with us, from the very first year and who has got the 2 years profit as well. And they also exited after, 25-27% return as well. So, exit is, possible in this kind of, model, because every round we will have a new investor plus existing investor who will participate, and they can buy back the, the new investor can buy back, the shares of the existing investor who wants to exit. These are the, few hidden, benefits. I will not take much time on this. This is our performance in last, 2.5 years, just to give a unit value. So we call it CCD value, right? So this is the, 10 rupees we started, which has gone at this level. We declared the profit, and still today, after declaring, 2 profit in the first one, it's still at, over 12 rupees, value. These are the 4 funds, just for the reference. This is the first one we started 3.5 years. This is the second fund we started, 2.5 years back. These are the 2 funds we started in, this financial year, and they are doing exceptionally well. This is the management. Sanjay and I take the sole responsibility, and we are fully supported by Sushant and Mehul, who helps us, in the, remaining 2 funds. About Sanjay. So Sanjay is alumni of, IIT Kharagpur and IIM Ahmedabad with over, 28-29 years of experience. He's also, he has worked with TCS and multiple other, companies. And he's also, a corporate director as well. About me, most of the guys, I've spoken, but just for the sake of, new member as well. So I was a banker by profession for last 2 decades. In my last role, I was part of Yes Bank, part of the senior management. I used to be based in Bangalore, and I used to head the startup, vertical for Southern and the Western region. And I've also worked with Bugsy Payment, which is a cross-border payment fintech based out of Canada. I used to head the Asia Pacific sales. Sushant, is also, advisor to us in Growth 91, and he's also one of the co-founder in, Growth Sense. So Sushant has come with a 32 years of banking experience, and in the last role he was as executive director and, global head for First Abu Dhabi Bank. Mehul Bhai, he owns the wealth firm, established, long back, and they are doing wonderfully well with a, a good AUM. These are the scope of the work for, the management, evaluate available opportunities. Now, opportunities, you may have a question, and maybe I can answer before, someone raise the question. So we started investing in the first one, 3.5 years back, and first our 2 and second one we started in 2021. In 2021, when we started investing from both the fund and our exposure have also increased, that time we invested in couple of startups, and that got published into, media like, your story, right? So lot of, awareness was created for us, and, sitting on chair every day, we get 2 to 3 new startup who wants to, raise the fund. And for us, we don't only invest. Whenever we invest, we help the startup, strategically as well, right? So, to help the startup for, making them MVP ready, to help them with the fundraise, to work with them as an advisor, mentor, everything what we do, right? Perform all necessary tasks involved in required due diligence. So when I say due diligence, so any startup which comes with some details, you have to have do the due diligence, right? Wherever we lead the round, we have an external agency who does the due diligence, which could be financial, legal, secretarial, everything, we do it, and everything is done. And, once we are clear, then only we, invest in the startup. Documentation work, everything, is done by us, as well as regular monitoring. Now take an example of you are investing directly in the startup, where, you have to do all this activity at your own, compared to you are investing in the fund. So we are taking care of all the responsibility, right? You are not required to evaluate any deal. For any deal evaluation, you will have to spend at least, in terms of hour, if I say, you'll have to spend at least 35-36 hours for one single deal, right? All combining, I'm saying. Now, you will have to, once you invest, you will have to sign the shareholder agreement, which is of, few, let's say 90-100 pages that you'll have to do. After investment, regular monitoring, that is also the, issue. So everything is done by, management in this fund, right? participate in available exit option. So wherever exit is possible, or it's available, we only take the call how to do it. Currently as we speak, yesterday only we took exit 50% of our investment in both the funds. Right, members updated with the financial and other status of the regular intervals, and all other miscellaneous activity what we do with regards to the investment, that everything is part of the management. Right, so fees will be linked to the amount invested in the startup. So we don't charge upfront. So whenever the investment happens in the startup, that time only we charge, we take our fees from that, fund, right? No fee shall be charged for the time spent and all. What I said, that for any startup evaluation, what time we spend, we don't, charge for that. There is no annual fee, unlike other platforms where, it ranges from 20,000 to 1.5 lakhs per annum, what you pay to them to get the deals where you want to invest, right? So here, in the platform also we don't charge, and no annual fee for any member. So member is not paying any annual member fee also to participate in the fund, right? And the management fees is the entire lifespan of the investment. What we consider in startup, you should consider at least 5 years as a horizon. There are startup where people have got the exit in within a year as well. There are startup where people have got the exit in 3 years as well. But there are startup where people are still holding after 5 years also, right? So average cycle, we say that, you should have to have a 5 years horizon in this, kind of investment. These are the few expenses, because see, this is the fund where Sanjay and I, or, Mehul Bhai and, Sushant, we are not only the, fund manager, but we also invest in each and every round. So our money is also in the, investment pool, right? So whatever expenses, we do for managing the, stuff, including documentation, audit, everything, that also we have negotiated at a level that, it's very reasonable. And we have been doing with the same company since last 3-4 years. So we also have a very much, high confidence on the team and, their work as well, right? So these are the few, operating expenses for the, fund, just for your reference. Marketing expenses, as I said in the I think third slide, where we even give the referral to the investors, but that is not being paid from the company. That is being paid from our management fees only, right? So whatever fee we charge out of that, we pay this referral also to the respective investors. Right now, 65 investment, it's the very simple thing in when you hear that. But if just for your reference, for identifying 65 investable startups, we would have evaluated over 750 startups. At some stage now, we have stopped counting the numbers as well, right? Because every day we evaluate at least 1 to 2 startup. Now earlier it was completely digitally. Now, I based out of, Ahmedabad, Gujarat. Sanjay is, largely operating from Bombay. Sushant is, from, Delhi. Mehul Bhai is from Ahmedabad. So we also do a in-person meeting as well. And, we evaluate the startups, right? So we have done over 750 evaluation. Also, we have a syndication with lot of angel investment platform where the deal flow sharing also happens. Right now, basic question, who should invest, right? Anyone who wish to create a wealth. Everyone knows stock market is booming, stock market may invest kar raha hai. If IPO is booming, people are investing in IPO. But I also started my career through mutual fund, right? But somewhere I also need more and more instrument where I can diversify my portfolio, right? So this could be one more asset class for you, right? Where you should also participate. But as I said, whatever amount you invest, that goes split into 65 startups, and 65 startups will become 75, 85, 100 also, let's say in 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, whenever we get the exact opportunity, right? So we always say that someone who wants to start investing in such asset class, this should be allocating at least 5 to 10 lakhs, every year, right? And as I said, when your fund get distributed, the risk becomes very, very low, right? But it's not that 5-10 lakhs you are putting in a one shot, but let's say 4 times in a year we call for the money. So you can always participate in every round. If you're planning to participate with 10 lakh, you can do 2.5 lakh each. If you are planning to do 5 lakh, you can distribute accordingly, and you can start investing. Anyone who may get the satisfaction of being part of the great companies, I mean, this is the standard example which I give to a lot of people. Take an example of let's say Paytm, or take an example of Zomato. At a very early stage when they started, and someone would have invested, they would have minted money like anything, right? So there are examples of the startup, who has given 80x, 90x return as well. But again, these are not the numbers which will be available every now and then, right? One in 1,000 or one in a 10,000 startup could be like this, right? But that's where, our expertise comes, and, we try to, be in the company. We try to help them strategically so that we remain in the company even with our small ticket, and we get good return in that particular startup as well. So this was on the specifically on the fund, so I can share the two documents, maybe Sanjay can share the documents in the chat if required. So there are few documents, which we have created. We started with the FAQ document of 1 page. Now FAQ has become 12 page because a lot of people have come and they have, asked the question. So we have captured all the question in the FAQ as well, right? So if you are interested, you can just have a look at the document, any query, Sanjay and I are available for anything. And if you are interested, just confirm your interest, and we can start the process. So we take the commitment every month between 1st to 10th, and call for the money happens in February, May, August, and November. Assuming we are sitting in November, the round has, I'm sorry, December now, November has already closed. So someone who's committing now, the fund transfer will take place in the month of February, not immediately, right? So thank you. This was, from my side. Happy to, answer any questions you have it. So Sanjay and I are there, and we can answer any question you have it.
Just one request, like on at the end of the video, if we all can switch on our video and can take a selfie, if that possible.
So feel free to ask any question, maybe not in this forum, then one-on-one or whatever. But if you ask the question here, a lot of other will also, get the insight of, the overall structure, any further query on that.
Jimmy sir, as you told that like you are different from other startups because you are not charging the annual fees. So can you elaborate in what like growth sense is different from other startups?
Sure, sure.
Can you tell us a bit more differentiators?
Sure, sure, sure. So that's not the actually differentiator, right? But that's the, see, ultimately, if investor, earns the money, then only we will grow, right? So, and it's not a startup, it's an angel investment platform. So today you go to any angel investment platform, most of the platform which are known, they charge the fee starting from 20,000 to, 150,000 INR per year, right? Whether you invest or not, you are paying that fees for getting the, deals on the table. And whenever you invest, there is a additional fee what you will be paying to the that particular platform, right? So we do charge those fees, but we don't charge any annual membership. So today Neha wants to be part of let's say as an angel investment platform, you can be part of the stuff, and you can see the deal. So for that, you are just getting registered on the Growth 91 platform, and you are seeing the stuff, right? In the fund, if someone wants to start today with, let's say, 1 lakh rupees, 2 lakh rupees, they participate with the same amount. We don't charge any fees to them. So whether they invest this year, next year or not, they are not going to pay any annual membership to us. They'll be only we'll be only charging the management fees in that, right? So take an example, this fund you consider as a PMS of startup, right? Portfolio management service of, mutual fund, or portfolio management service of, stock, right? So what do? You go to any, let's say, large PMS, maybe let's take an example of Motilal Oswal. You start with 25 lakh, 50, I think it has become 50 lakh now. So you give that 50 lakh, and, those experts manage your fund, right? And they charge, fees to you. So this is the same, it's a PMS of startup where you are giving the fund, and, we take the sole responsibility of investing and managing. But the since there is no question, let me elaborate on little bit more on the process. So whenever someone commits any amount start with 1 lakh, 2 lakh. So whenever they transfer the fund, we add them in the WhatsApp group, right? Where within whatever happens in the company, even if there is some fees which is transferred to CA for let's say any amount, that also get reported into the group. Whatever investment we do within 24 hours, that also we report in the group, right? So people are well aware that we have invested in this startup. And idea of the fund is that someone wants to become a angel investment or angel investor over a period of time. So for them, this is the right opportunity to start with the fund. And once you start getting the comfort, once you start developing the satisfaction of your investment return, you can even start directly investing in the particular startup, right, with a 2.5 lakh to 5 lakh ticket as well. So any questions, guys? Maybe there I can see a lot of new names also. So anything you guys want to know, from our perspective, happy to answer, any questions.
Or maybe there are a couple of investors who are investing with invested in the funds, first, second, third, fourth funds. If anybody want to share something, I mean, their findings, observations, or anything, that will also help.
I think Mr. Mukesh Mer is saying no question, give it up, good. So I think thank you, sir. I think you are a big supporter to us from the very first one, from the very first round, right? So thank you so much. Yeah. How is this different from regular stocks mutual fund in terms of return? Yeah. So so as I said, right, stocks, so somewhere we'll have to compare this with the fund. I'm saying fund structure with the mutual fund, right? When you directly invest in the startup, that you can consider as a stock, right? Because you are taking, let's say, you are investing in the Tata technology today, and that can give a, let's say, another 10x return in next, 5 years. The same is with the startup as well. But when you invest in the fund, we already mentioned that we have been giving 20-25% notional return. But let's understand, sir, we invest at a very early stage. When I say early stage is, out of my 65 startup, 1 or 2 startup, we would have done it at an idea stage as well, right? Where the potential is much higher. Maximum, all the investment we would have done it at a pre-revenue, early revenue, of the company. So they would have started doing 2 to 10 lakhs a month, revenue, and we would have invested as well, right? So what happens is, currently when you transfer the funds to startup, we will have to give some time to startup also to, perform and deploy the fund, right? So if we always tell the people that whenever you invest, and I'm sure, if you are doing mutual fund, you also know, or your advisor would have also told you always that if you are investing in mutual fund, your horizon should be at least 3 to 5 years, right? So we also say the same thing. So if you remain invested for a longer period of time, the return could be, as high as, anything in this, but this is not the structure where, your return will be 3x 4x in 1 year 2 year, right? Because the money gets split into the 70-80 startups. But if you are a high risk taker, if you want to take a higher risk, and you are okay that, 3-5 lakhs, I've done it, I don't need it for 7 years, and even if it becomes zero, I'm okay, then you should always participate in the direct startup. We do uh, very, very good deals on the Growth 91 platform. Maybe Neha, you can put a just link on the, chat. But, in Growth 91, as we speak today, also there are two, deals which are available, and, people can directly take a exposure where you can get a 3x 4x return also. And we have witnessed, in many startups where we are at a 7 8x 9x 10x return as well, right? So mutual funds are, correct me if I'm wrong, but mutual fund is giving you, 15 to 20% return. Am I correct? So I think, you are expecting here at early stage 20 to 25% notional value, but you remain invested for a longer period of time. Yes, the return would be, little higher as well. But just compare, with the direct investment in the startup where exit is not possible and it's not in your hand. Here in fund, exit is possible and visible. Hope I answered your question. Thank you.
Sanjay sir, Jimish sir, if you can answer about the stages of the financing, like there are, like, as you were mentioning about the idea stage of financing. So
So in
if anyone,
startup, what happens is, see, these are all the terminology, right? People can call it something else, but ultimately, either you are investing at an early stage, or you are investing at a growth stage, or you are investing at a mature stage, right? In largely in mature stage, our ticket will not qualify, because there you will be expected to invest in couple of crores, in particular startup, right? At growth stage also, the ticket size becomes higher, because this is ultimately a private limited company where you can have a 200 investors, right? And if they start giving the entry at a growth stage also with some 2.5 lakh ticket, then people then at some time, larger round, they will be in a big trouble, right? They'll have to give an exit to people. So what happens is, we invested the early stage. So now stage could be idea stage, it could be a seed round, it could be angel round, it could be pre-series A. So there are multiple thing. You would be hearing or reading the things in the economic times that Baiju had done, I don't know, but L series also, right? They have raised the money, or if you would have heard that someone has done D or E series as well. So these are all the phases in the fundraise cycle, where once you reach at a series A, then you do series B, then you do series C, then you do series A. So these are all basically, these are the next fundraise. So I can call it A, B, C, whatever, but ultimately these are the stages in the startup. Sure. Just if you don't mind, Nikun, just any questions from your side, since I know you and you have a great experience in this, startup. So anything from you, I think I'm sure people will get a lot of, idea on that.
Jimish, yeah. Okay, so regarding the process, just I wanted to understand like how the things work out when like in a mutual fund kind of structure, there is a like 4 times opportunity given to entry and exit in the current fund structure, right? Growth sense fund structure.
No, it's not that. It's not that. So Nikon, so what I said is, we call for the money 4 times in a year, right? So which is
Okay.
February, May, August, and November. But now we are sitting in December. Someone wants the exit today, right?
Mhm.
Now, if there is an exit, we can always, try and facilitate. We can put it in the group if someone wants to, buy it, right? So we give first preference to the, investors who are already there, in the group. If new investors are coming, that also, the opportunity we tell. And third is, even, if everyone is not taking, and, a seller wants to, move out, we can, take, that, piece as well. But Sanjay and I invest, we have defined the amount. We'll be investing 1 lakh per round per fund, right? And, we don't increase or decrease, because somewhere we are the fund manager. So although, when we declared the, value every month end, but we know that this startup had raised the month fund in, let's say, 15th of this month, right? So we know that now the NAV will increase, so we don't increase the amount. So we invest in a particular 1 lakh as a fixed amount every round, right? So we can also take, if no one is ready to take it, so we can take it to the extent of 2 lakh in this round, and the next round 2 lakh rupees.
So Nipun, just to
Okay.
add, like, I mean, just to follow the corporate governance practices, I mean, which are applicable to all listed companies, we do follow all the practices here. So as a director or a fund manager, I mean, we declare our investment plan upfront for full year. So irrespective of the performance and all, that is done. Secondly, your question probably was how people get like, I mean, entry and exit anytime. So basically, last day of the month, every last day, 30th or 31st of the month, we declare the notional value of the entire fund. So like, I mean, with all our 65, 70, 75 investments together, what is the NAV today? So like, I mean, your base face value of the share is 10 rupees. And what is the value of that share today? So whether it is 12 rupees, 15 paisa, 12 rupees, 17 paisa, 18 paisa, whatever. So that value is declared, and on that value, new investor or existing investors add more funds, or somebody want to exit, That is the benchmark value where the secondary market sale can happen. Naturally, as you know, there could be some discount in secondary market sales, but that is the discussion between buyer and seller. We facilitate that. But again, there is not much a difference there because everybody knows this is the price. If somebody want to invest, if you don't close the deal in secondary market within 10 days, he has to pay the full price to the company. So, I mean, usually the discounts are reasonable and the transactions happens.
Okay, and how does this NAV valuation happens of an listed invested portfolio companies?
Yeah, so you see, that is the most tricky thing here. So because see, when you talk about stock market listed companies, the financial numbers are available. But here, mostly startups are not a valuation of numbers. Startups sometimes are valuation of ideas, concepts, founders, and all these things. So once we invest, we keep track of the companies on a quarterly basis. So that is one. Secondly, there are certain, based on experience, there are certain assumptions, base assumptions are added of 0 to 20% IRR. I'm saying 0 to 20%, depending on different trigger parameters set in automatically in the formula. The IRR is calculated base IRR. Then we also take into factor like there is a possibility of failures in future. So that possibility is discounted now as on date with a cash flow discounting method, and that is also discounted from the valuation. Then whatever for free fund is available with us, that is parked in either FD or liquid funds till the time that is transferred to the startup. So that earning, that income is also transferred to the valuation. Then any real information known. So like, I mean, a firm confirmed information, like let's say we invested at 20 crore valuation in a startup. And now this startup very clearly raised money at 40 crore valuation. So we know the share price of that specific startup had changed. So that is reflected in the valuation. So all these parameters together, we have developed an algorithm, and that has been fine-tuned almost on every 3 to 4 months. We review the performance and do minor fine-tuning up to the algorithm. So, and over the period of last 3 years, I mean, it has given a very, very balanced calculations, which is acceptable to buyers and seller both.
Okay. And what is the purpose of this fund? Like, when do you close the fund, or when do you start a new fund?
No, so
Is there any
Nikunj,
limit, like when it will be
no,
closed?
yeah, you are right. So basically, this is an open-ended fund, so we don't close it. Why we started a second, third, fourth, and now the fifth fund will be ready in next 15 days. It is like purely there are different set of investors. So like every fund, we have different partners with us who are helping us in managing the investor relations. So accordingly, we have set up multiple funds for a separate group of people. But technically, the evaluation, once we identify some good startup, mostly we invest from all the funds in the same startup. So technically, it is not that it is not like, I mean, different startups from different funds or different sectors or nothing like that. All are same, just a different investor groups.
Okay. And what would be the structure of
Nikunj,
this
if you
fund? Would it be in the LLP form, or would be company form?
maybe Sanjay, just sorry to interrupt. Maybe we can take this question. Then I think there are a few questions, and then we can go back to Nikunj. In the chat box, there are
Yeah,
few.
sure. So I mean, quickly just to address this question, Nikunj, I mean, this is private limited company.
Okay.
So there is a question from Mr. Mukesh Mer. Is there any system for nomination registration? Sir, so as of now, it's a little offline. We are working on the second version of our, platform, which will take some time. So in that, we'll be capturing this. So you can go on your dashboard and you can, update the nomination. But for now, it's a, offline process, and you can confirm to us, and we are adding it to that. And what will be the situation if there will any mishappening with investor? Sir, if you can, you are saying anything wrong happening with the startup or investor? Sanjay, did I understood?
No, because I don't see the question in the chat room.
Okay, fine. So maybe sorry.
Yeah, I also not see the
No,
question.
sorry, it's shared with me. So maybe he has not selected everyone. Direct it has come to me. So, anyways, his question is, what will be the situation if there will be any miss happening with investor? So ideally,
Okay. So I'll take this question. So basically, see, this is a private limited company structure. So any investor who is investing in it, it is like they are buying the security of this company. So anything, whatever happens to that investor, whatever are the standard outside this company legal procedures of legal hair and all these things, these are applicable. So like, I mean, for let's assume you have purchased one share of Reliance and invested 1 lakh rupees in this fund. Both the treatments will be exactly same. So technically, as this is a company structure and governed by strict rules and regulations as far as investor protection is concerned. So in short, even if there is no nomination registered, the legal hair structure will proceed.
okay, he got it. Just asking, Ajay sir, if at all you have any question, I'm sorry, I'm just taking your name. In case you have any question, I think that will be really helpful for others.
Jimmy, no question at this moment.
Sure, sir.
Okay. I have been tracking Growth 91 for a long time, though I have not taken the plunge, but soon I will be taking that.
Thank you so much, sir.
You guys are doing a great work.
Yeah.
All the best to you, you and your team. And I will be in touch definitely, both online and offline.
100%. Thank you so much, sir. Just for everyone. So Ajay sir is one of the best agri expert in the country. He's IRMA pass out and he used to head the entire agri vertical at Yes Bank in his earlier role. I think if there is any question, we can wait for just another 2-3 minutes. Otherwise, I think we can just conclude the call. Neha, you want to take a selfie? I think before people leave. If everyone can just switch on the video, I think that will be real. Yes.
One more thing.
Just one. Yeah, right?
Yeah, so now since it is a company structure, whenever investor puts the funds in the company, by what time he get these shares? Like what is the timeline in
Usually, like the company law says that the shares should be allotted within 60 days after receipt of funds. But up till now, I mean, we were able to do it consistently within 30 days.
Okay, and is it like through any technical platform, or it is an offline kind of transactions happens? How does this thing happen? If some investor want to participate, so is it an offline mode or online mode?
No. So monitoring is available online, but the transactions are subject to strictly guidelines of private placement. We from the investor.
Sanjay, your
Prepare
voice
the
is
final
breaking.
allottees list.
Sanjay, your voice
Is
was
it?
breaking. Sorry.
Okay, now is it okay?
Yeah, better.
No. What I'm saying, so we do follow all practices required or prescribed for fundraise or accepting funds by private placement. So we do prepare a formal allottees list, then send it to the investor with all the details, with impact on shareholding pattern and all whatever is required things, and then accept the funds after that in a separate account. And once filing and share allotment is done, then we transfer this fund for operational account to you are to be invested in startups. So allotment, to answer your question, allotment we do not more than 48 hours time. So I mean, once the fund is received, within 48 hours we complete the allotment process. Since after that we have to pay the stamp duty and share certificate, so that is done within 30 days time.
Okay. Fine.
Just a little bit blur selfie view came if everyone can switch on their video again. Such a kind request. Taken. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And
All right,
thank you so
thank
much,
you.
everyone, for joining in. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Neha. Thanks, Sanjay.